Hey, loyal listeners, it's Mel. Thanks for listening to YOPN's Living Well Starts Here. This month we're revisiting an episode we originally aired in November of 2024. In it, Chris, Esther, and I talk about DBS, which is Deep Brain Stimulation. And at the time, Chris and I were both preparing to have this surgery, and we discuss our mindsets and how we made our decisions. Esther asks some really great questions. We're re-airing this conversation because next month in the August episode, we'll be talking about DBS again. This time, how we're both doing now that we've had the surgery. Are we glad we did it? What do we wish we knew back then? What do we want to tell anyone who may be considering it? All great questions, and you'll have to listen next month to find out the answers. But first, enjoy this episode. Everybody's doing it.
It's what all the kids do.
It kind of all the coolest people are doing it. Like you may have compatriots as
this nice hairstyle kind of thing going.
$30,000 haircut. I told you guys if they shave my head, somebody better show up with a wig because I'm not leaving until there's something on top of there, and there is not going to be. I'm gonna look like an exploded muffin.
Right. Well, I mean, like you can. They didn't get all of it shaved, and then like the spot back here where the wires are, they just like there's a strip.
Oh yeah.
That they just went up, and I was like, you couldn't have just you couldn't have finished that up, kind of thing.
Right, like you couldn't have got somebody in there, and they gave you like a monk's tonsure, kind of like / like faux hawk on one side, like. Like Avatar in the 80s or something like
Chris definitely wins for the DBS haircut.
Yeah, he's rocking it.
Well, I mean, I asked them beforehand. I was like, do I need to, should I go ahead and shave it? And they're like, no. I said, they said, Dr. Laxton said he's kind of a minimalist. He does, I mean, there's hardly, like, you can barely tell here that there's any, I mean, scarring wise, but yeah. I heard the clippers fire up, and then it was.
He has minimal efficiency, and he has maximum efficiency and minimal competency. That's what they meant to tell you.
And I thought I was going to say, I was like, are you going to do? He's like, no, I'm just shaving back to where we need to get to. He said it'll grow back.
They told me Baylor that they take like they just clip it. And then they take like a little, like, not sandpaper, but something like that, and they braid off the rest of the hair until the follicle is flat, okay. And that's it. Like, that's your spot. I'm like, you better not be lying to me, because
right.
If I miss the opportunity to wear a purple wig at 49, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah. Already had purple hair. It was a debacle, so it took me a while to come back from that. Manic panic is not as gentle on your hair in your 40s as it is when you are in your teens, just for the record.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I say I'm the staples come out Monday, and then the 10th I go back for turn on and start programming.
On.
Yay.
That'll be awesome. I think it'll be awesome. The other day they actually shut off Greg's DBS to determine where his neck pain was coming from, because he's had this kind of like neuropathy kind of going through his neck and shoulder, and it's like a shooting pain with numbness. Okay. And the doctor was like, I don't think that's the DBS. He's like, I don't think it. He's like, let's just test it out. And he's like, huh? He's like, I'm just gonna turn off your DBS. I was like, are you really going to unplug him and plug him back in? Like, are you serious? And that's essentially what they did. They shut it off. And like for a couple seconds, he was like, his dyskinesia was real bad from the it was like the worst pain day that he'd had in the last 6 weeks of dealing with this. And he went from like, he has this dyskinesia in his mouth where it kind of pulls his mouth to one side over and over again. And it immediately stopped when they shut it off. But then other things kind of, I said, how do you feel? And he was like, it's weird. Like, it's weird. And it was only a couple seconds. He turned it back on and he was like, oh, the pain is gone. Okay, that's way better. And the doctor was like, there's no way. No, there's no way. And then after like about 45 more seconds, he went, no, there it is. So,
And see,
so
yeah,
you want to get an MRI. But in the meantime, it was kind of fascinating to see the difference between, his functionality. Like, because immediately he went from, his doing this with his right hand to doing like kind of like quite a
and,
bit slower. Not a lot, but I'd say about like 30% slower. So it's a really a kind of a interesting experiment slash
right,
kind of scary, but because everyone thinks that that's how you're going to be, like that, okay, this is how I am without meds or without treatment, but it's really not because your body's still under stress because you're shutting off
yeah,
electrical currents in your brain.
yeah.
You gotta wait till it dies down a bit. Just,
And when they were doing the placements, like they were checking, and they were like, he's like, if you see like any flashes or you notice anything or any feelings, tingling, numbness, he's like, let us know. And they're going through all the different ones, and like I guess you want to say like anything you notice, but you don't. Like some things you're gonna be like, well, I don't know, is that significant? Like, should I tell her
yeah.
about that? Yeah, you want to say like anything kind of that you notice and start to feel it. So
Oh, that's actually good to know. 'Cause I would feel the same way. You don't want to be that like, you don't be a rabble rouser and be like, oh, it's all terrible, like everything's on fire. But then by the same right, if you don't say something, they're like,
right.
you should have mentioned that.
Well, and I mean, we've talked to people who have had it that like their vision has gone blurry, at certain settings during programming.
I've
So
heard
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
that's and I'm laying here and I'm like, well, is it from the fact that I've been laying here in the OR for 5.5 hours now without my glasses, and now I'm
Am I
like,
blind from the
my
mold, or am I blind from Parkinson's
right,
treatment?
and I can't talk very well, and I'm coughing because I can't swallow, and I've not had anything to drink, so.
My mouth is dry.
Hmm.
So, Chris, how long had you had Parkinson's before you decided to have DBS?
Oh gosh, I think we were right at 7 years, maybe 7 or 8 years. I was diagnosed at 42 and was 48 when we actually started the conversation.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember.
and it kind of went like we wanted to wait and see, and then we thought about it and thought about it, and then we came back, and within that last year or two, that's when it kind of
Yeah.
like the symptoms didn't really progress much, but the timing of my doses, like my med doses, was what really got finicky, I guess you could say. So,
It
so that
becomes like a
was
fait accompli after a while, and you're like, all right, I have no other option, so
right.
let's look at this one.
Yeah.
Save the best for last, or the only
Yeah,
one.
and it was like it was always, I always considered that DBS was always kind of your last resort kind of thing. But now it's,
Yeah.
I mean, and look,
They
it's
actually,
it's changed a lot in the last 4 or
yes,
5 years. So,
it has. Almost exponentially.
mhm,
There's the technology is different, and the approach is a bit different. They're MRI guided now, which is wonderful because then
yeah,
you can hit that target the first time, and it eliminates having to go back and have additional surgeries. I
right,
know we all have at least one friend, one Parkinson's friend that is going to go back and get another surgery. Just based on the fact that
exactly,
that target just wasn't what was working out for them, or that it just was missed altogether. Not missed,
right,
but not 100%. I have several friends, in fact, that went through that because their DBS process started way earlier. That's the only thing that makes me grateful for waiting is that 3 years ago I may not have had the same benefits and the same not competency, but the same results that I
yeah,
will possibly be getting in whatever time frame it is that I am getting my surgery, because I am waiting still for my surgery date.
okay,
I just got the green light yesterday, but my doctor said that it is complicated, as most things are in my life, unfortunately, um, by the gastric issue, whatever that,
Okay.
whatever the name for that is.
Right.
Um, if I go with subabdominal nucleus, then I can reduce meds and therefore reduce dyskinesias, which would also give me the benefit of possibly being able to eat in between doses. But unfortunately, in my opinion, my problems with levodopa and eating started when I started levodopa and continued eating. So the alternative is the GPI, which doesn't really allow me to reduce medicine, but it allows me to take a larger dose of medicine and yet combat the dyskinesias that would come with a larger dose. And for me, a larger dose is not really a huge dose. It's still only a 145 Rytari, which I can't tolerate right now. I can't. That'll throw me into wild. That throws me back into the boogie oogie oogie kind of
Right.
this movement that we were talking about earlier. The earth
The
environment.
the bothersome or troublesome dyskinesia. I think I remember there was a
Yeah,
survey that I did. That was how they described it.
troublesome. It's like I'm dancing to the 21st of September, but every day of the year.
Hmm.
That's troublesome, and also, very painful after a while, because, a girl loves to dance, but not all day long. So,
Yeah, I think that was kind of one of the eye openers for me is like I thought when you got DBS that you just didn't take medication anymore. And then
yeah,
as I got to know people that had had it, I realized that's not the case. And so, I mean, although obviously any medication reduction is preferable because of the dyskinesia, um, it was kind of disappointing to me because I was like, I'm like you, and you know that, Mel. Like me and levodopa, we just have a very very unhappy relationship from day one. I
not
mean,
besties, not
Yeah.
really not.
and I was talking to my new MDS about it. He specializes in DBS as well, and he confirmed, what a lot of us have been saying. Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
My speaker went out. Anyway, that there's some people that just can't tolerate food with their levodopa. He's like
yeah,
he he's like the protein is a thing too, but he's like there's some patients that I have that no matter what they eat on the levodopa, like it's like it nullifies their medication. And I don't know why it doesn't get more attention. I mean, people always just harp on like certain things, and it's like, we're not making this up. I'm not saying everybody has any of this stuff.
Right.
Not everybody gets dyskinesia right away, but they don't really understand it. And you'd have to, I mean, you think about it, you'd have to be somebody that just knows a lot of people with Parkinson's. And
yes.
what I realized is with us being on social media and stuff, we just know exponentially more people with
Yeah, we're
Parkinson's than like
incredibly
a
fortunate,
regular person would, with
Hmm.
the exception of movement disorder specialists. And that's why, I mean, to me, like the anecdotal stuff is so important because I just see it again and again,
Yes.
and that's really, I wish you guys would explain the whole GPI, like the placement stuff, because I never understood
Mm,
that either. I had heard about that it was different in Europe, you know, that
yes.
they did
Well,
preferred one type over the other, but I never really understood it.
my doctor, the way that he explained it yesterday was that the STN is used more commonly in Europe. It's better for people like us with young onset Parkinson's because it allows us to reduce medications
Right.
and therefore like kind of like extend the efficacy of the medication if in fact that ends up being the case for us. If we can take less medication, the hope is that we can take it for longer if we're not dosing like
Right.
we're dosing right now, which is heavily. I
Right.
take Cinemet immediate release and just a 25/100, but I take it 12 times a day. I take it every two
Wow.
hours around the clock. It's 9 to 12 times a day. Like if I'm lucky and I sleep through my dose, then I can have an extra hour. But then I have to wait an hour for it to work because I'm off and I've been off for an
Yeah.
hour while I'm sleeping. So then I'm awake for an hour to 2 hours in the middle of the night, which is super fun, super
Right.
fun. Like, what is 8 hours sleep and how does that feel? I don't know. I think it's a fallacy.
Yeah.
But so that he said that the STN was used more in Europe and it's better for people with young onset. It basically, the way that he described it was it kind of depends on your results depend on you cutting your medication. So if you can't cut your medication, then STN becomes a problem because it doesn't work the same
It's
way.
not.
And then you can,
Right.
yeah, then you go back to the troublesome or horrible, in some cases, dyskinesia. It makes you a good dancer and a bad everything else. Um, or, then you have to go back. He did say that STN, if you have STN, there is the opportunity to then do GPI after that. So if you put the leads in globus pallidus,
Yeah.
you more often than not you don't reduce your medications, but again, like it allows you to take higher doses because it fights against the dyskinesia caused from higher doses. For me personally, and this is the first time with this doctor that anybody's ever referred to it as absorption issues. I
Mm.
always thought of it as a gastric issue, and because I did have a gastric study, he is more along the line of thought that it's an absorption issue, and that's the first time that anyone had addressed it in that way, which I thought was
Oh.
actually quite smart. And I
Yeah.
don't know why I didn't think of that, but also I'm not a doctor, so
Well,
I'm glad that I have something that's amazing. So that's why I ate a carrot yesterday and went off a carrot, 1 carrot, one. It was a big carrot because a girl likes a big carrot, but still, it was 1 carrot.
oh. Yeah, and that was like, so with the meds with the GPI, that was one of his things about it. He said it won't, you increase, decrease. He says with um,
Yeah.
his experience, it had evened out, right?
Yes.
And one other thing he told me too was that as the longer the stimulator runs for the GPI, at least they found the better it gets at, I guess, evening those highs and lows out of their
Yeah.
meds, kind of thing. So,
Because it can anticipate
hmm
it after a while because of the brain sense technology
yep,
and most
yep,
devices that are coming out now. I know Boston Scientific has it, and also Medtronic has a version of it as well.
mhm,
I think it's called something different. But yeah, they're able to kind of zap out that Parkinson's activity in your brain before, so it doesn't require you to go to a doctor to constantly up and down your
right,
device. It does it on its own, which is pretty amazing. Um, and that was the same was explained to me was that it kind of just after a while, like it's just about adjusting your doses, and kind of
yeah.
finding that correct dose. I have a lot of hope for Crexont. Um, if I'm saying it right, because who knows with words with an X in it, or Crezon or Cresson.
Yeah, the new
um,
the new long-acting levodopa
yeah,
carbidopa. Yeah.
Right.
because it's almost like microdosing in my head because of the pill capsule is supposed to be thinner than Rytari, so it dissolves quicker in your system, and then the little balls that are inside are several different doses,
Right.
strengths. So it's almost like microdosing because you're starting at different times, which for me I think would be incredibly helpful. It's almost like Divi, but in like a smarter version. And it didn't take 2 doctors in a couple of years to come up with. So
So
Well, and I
Chris,
mean, we've always
which placement did you get?
GPI.
that's probably what I'll go with too, to be honest. I think
Mhm.
it just seems more prudent with the eating issues and the absorption issues and stuff like that. I told the doctor, I said, it doesn't really make a difference to me. It feels like a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other kind of situation, but in a way it's not. I was like, I just want whatever's going to allow me to be a glutton for a very long time after I come out of surgery. And so that I can get fat and have fat on me so that I can do harder workouts and not worry about how many calories I'm burning on top of everything else. Because I have to be very careful right now
Oh yeah.
with my workouts because if I go too hard, like that 4 pounds, I've been playing with the same 4 pounds for like almost the better part of a year now. Like I got up over 116 and I was like, yeah, that's it. My butt's coming back. And then it was gone. I just want it. Like nothing fits right now. You know, I've never had my pants sitting on my hips and stuff. Like there was always something to hold that up. There's no shelf there now. I
Oh
need
yeah.
it.
Well, I
Somebody
mean,
help me.
you can ask Angie. I've never had a bud. Like it just, but like I have. I think what did I was down to 220 the other day, and I'm lighter now than
Yeah,
the entire time Angie and I have known each other.
yeah, that's me. I'm
But
smaller than
like
I
you
was in seventh grade. Seventh grade.
and you just like you said, your clothes don't fit. You know, put on a pair of sweatpants the other day, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to tie these because
And then you have to untie them, which is worse because we have to use the bathroom like 42 times an hour. So it's like,
right.
you
So,
know,
Chris, what's the wait time between when you had the surgery and when you get the programming done?
So first surgery was August 1st. That was the probes, and the 19th was the battery pack, and then the 10th is when they
yes,
turned it on. I mean, everything's been about like 2.5, 3 weeks kind of thing.
it's not too bad.
Seems like it. So, but I'll go September the 10th for the first programming, and then I'll go October 11th, November 10th, 12th, something like that.
Oh, that's good.
And
Every
then
month.
then those are the first three, and then I have my next programming appointment will be in February. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
because then they push.
like a follow up kind of thing more so.
Yeah, that's what they do here too. Except for the surgery, they do it a little bit faster. For me, it'll be, I'll get the first surgery, excuse me, and then after a week, I'll get the second surgery. They only wait about a week, unless there's complications or anything, which hopefully there won't be. I'm usually pretty good with surgery, so thank goodness for that.
Yeah, and
But,
I'd be anxious to see too, because like everyone I talk to, apparently everywhere is different. Like
yes,
there's no real standardization as to how or when. I mean, it's up to the surgeon apparently.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. This surgeon has had good success with 1 week after you you put in the device,
uh,
and then they turn it on 1 month after your first surgery. So it would be 1 month total that I would be waiting. And I was like, I want it a month to the day. Please, like,
right.
help me out because I don't want to wait anymore.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I asked Angie. I was like, they sent us the remote and stuff home with me. I was like, can I? She's like, no, you are not to touch that.
it's cool that that's the interesting thing about being a patient with Parkinson's is like Parkinson's is one of the most fascinating conditions because it is so chimeric and it's different for everybody.
Mhm.
So you almost get hooked on like finding out like, oh, well, that's weird, and this is weird, and you talk to other people, and you're like, and you just get all this kind of fascinating, interesting stuff,
Right,
and a lot of the times it doesn't even occur to you like that this stuff sucks, and like we're all going through it because it just doesn't feel like real life some of the time.
right,
Then something like this hits, and you have DBS surgery, and you think to yourself, like, God, I had to put a mechanical device in my body to be able to live. When my doctor suggested it to me over 2 years ago, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm doing
oh
that
yeah.
until I
I
have
read.
zero alternative. And he said, I think that that's a foolish mindset. He said, why suffer now? And I said, because I feel like I can control it. I can manipulate it. I can influence it. And you know what? I was not honest with myself and I was not aware of things because I had to have a hip surgery in between that, and I didn't recover from the surgery the way that I wanted to. I'm very grateful for it, but I'm not as strong as I thought I was going to be coming out of that surgery. I wasn't able to build up enough. Like actually, like my speaking of butts, my butt is lopsided from walking around for 6 years on a bad hip and favoring it. I actually had one cheek that's smaller than the other. Like, it's like I'm like that weird person. I'm like, is my butt? Does it look lopsided? People are like, I'm like, just be honest. And they're like, oh, actually, yeah, the one muscle is much smaller because it's kind of wasted from constantly favoring it. So I don't. In a lot of ways with workouts and stuff like that, I don't have the strength on one side. It still feels very fragile. And I was warned to be cautious still, even though most people kind of get cleared for some harder sports like kickboxing and stuff like that, some doctors are like, yeah, that's cool. My doctor was like, absolutely no, 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 no kickboxing, no hit training. And I'm like, but that's the stuff that I need. Like, that's the jam. That's what we want. And he was like, nope. So I'll probably contact another orthopedic doctor after DBS once I come out of that, and I'm going to be optimistic and say that I can start kicking ass again. When it's time to do that, then I'll go back to an orthopedic doctor so that I get cleared for it, and make sure that my granny hip is granny in the way that I want it to. Because I'm going to be 50 next year, much as my friend here, and I'm not ready to shut down. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's you just have to realize. I mean, we've said this all along. You hit different milestones along this journey,
Yes.
and some of them you can be like, okay, that wasn't too bad. Some of them you got to kind of stop and regroup and
Yeah.
strategize and go back after kind of thing. And I think, I mean, for me, this has been one of them. Just
Yeah. It's life altering, you know. And
yeah,
it's like it makes you feel very grateful, but like then by the same right, you feel I don't know about you, but like me, it makes me feel resentful that I have to go this far to do the kind of stuff that people just get able, they're able to do. And I'm
right,
not resentful of anybody else's good luck or good fortune. Like I think that's wonderful, but then it throws you into this why me kind of mindset. Like, okay, my Parkinson's is not genetic, so then who did this? Who's responsible for this? Like, who do I call? Who do I write to? Like,
hmm,
what bandwagon do I jump on? What soapbox do I get up on? Like, who's here for me to bitch to? Because like I have some things that I want to say about this now
yeah,
because this I went this far, and if it turns out that my Parkinson's is environmental, if there's some way to in the future to like prove that, I'm gonna be like wildfire just everywhere talking
oh
about
yeah, yep,
a bunch of stuff that people are not gonna want to hear at first because it's not fair for people have to live like this. And like I said,
true,
some
yeah,
you walk around every day in your reality, which is like a false reality, where you're like, all right, I'm just gonna get to the next moment. I'm just gonna get to the next dose. I'm gonna get through this dyskinesia. I'm gonna get through this dystonia. And it's just moments in between that you're living. And then finally you sit down one day and you're like, God, I have Parkinson's. This sucks.
yep,
And then you're like, all right, I'm gonna keep going now. Like that's it. That's the only time that you can afford. And these are the things that you have to do sometimes. Not everybody, because there's a faction of the community that does
right,
not believe that this is defeat. But for me, this is a hand up. For us, this is a hand up so that we can fight harder on the
hmm,
other side because we're not able to do it right now. We don't have the tools, and I'm using it to put this tool in my toolbox because
exactly, yeah.
this is what I
This
think
was
the organs is. Like,
this is the
no way.
best tool available right now. So
Yeah. This is our gift from the universe. Like this is all we've got right now. And that sucks, but it's also pretty awesome. It's
yeah,
pretty cool that we're able to even find anything like this.
I
You
had
know.
this
right,
like linchpin moment in my life of when I grew up, me and my father watched 60 Minutes like every weekend together. Like my entire life, we watched Jeopardy and we watched
Yes.
60 Minutes. And I remember the episode on DBS and
Um,
thinking to myself how miraculous that was. I mean, that was how many years ago? Like more than
yeah, it was
30, I'm sure.
has to be,
And
yeah.
and thinking about um, how life-changing that was for those people, even as a young, child.
Yeah. Not
And
even being
when I
connected. Yeah.
when I got diagnosed, I guess I never realized that you were awake when they did it. That wasn't something that
Yes.
I was aware of. And that
Terrifying.
like just like freaked me out so much. But now that I see with the technology, like we know people that have had it done asleep, you know?
Hmm.
And but realistically, when you get to that point, and I see it in my own life now that I call it, the narrowing of that therapeutic window, the shortening of your
Yes.
on time, the shortening of your good on time, like you're just chasing this thing, and that in and
Mhm.
of itself is so exhausting, and depressing sometimes, and gives me so much anxiety, which makes everything
Yeah.
worse. And so now I look at it as like, of course I would do that, you know? I mean, I'm not in a hurry, and so, but
No.
I would definitely do it as
Right.
an option. And when I met with my new MDS, I mean, he's like, no, you're not there yet. He's like, we've got lots of stuff to try with you, you know? But I really do appreciate my last MDS sending me to him, you know, so I have somebody that I will have established a really good relationship with over time that I trust
Yeah.
when that day comes for me. But it's crazy though how I'm just like, and I don't know if you guys are the same, like I'm just not scared of stuff in the same way. Like I have a lot of like anxiety, fear, like that is totally unfounded, but like in the big picture stuff, like death and surgery and all that stuff, it's like I just
It
don't
is
have
what
that
it
same
is.
perspective. I just
It,
want
it, it,
to have more good days than bad.
Yeah.
and
That's it.
and it
That's all I
does,
want.
like it definitely causes like a shift
Yes.
in our perspective from not, I mean, like everything. I'm like with you, Esther. Like I would joke and say, well, I'm been coming to grips with my own mortality kind of thing. But
Yeah. Dark humor.
right, but it definitely, like, you view things differently. I mean, I never, before this, the only I'd had wisdom teeth cut out and lithotripsy for kidney stones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody's telling me, oh, you need to rest, you need to rest. And I'm like, I have done nothing for most of this month. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you did have brain surgery, Chris.
There is
Oh,
that.
Like,
just that. That's no big. So I think to us too, it's like it almost kind of seems like no big deal because you're kind of like anesthetized to it in a way because we're surrounded by
we're
this. So
right.
there's so much talking about it, and we're immersing ourselves into that kind of lifestyle and information and stuff like that. And it's actually like very scary when you think about it. But like I told Chris when he was getting ready for his surgery, he was like, I don't know. And I was like, look, it's kind of like one of those like let go or let God situations. Like if
Yeah.
that's your mindset or whatever. I was like, think of it this way: like you get up in an airplane, you don't know who the pilot is, you don't know who's flying you, you know if this guy's had a bad night or bad night's sleep or got into a fight with his wife, broke up, maybe he had some drinks before he came to work, maybe he smoked some weed, who knows? But you do know you're a neurosurgeon. So you get up in the plane and you buckle yourself into the
Right.
plane and you just say, all right, that's it. Either I land or I don't. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing with surgery. Like either you land or you don't. But
You,
the
you, you,
odds are so much better in your favor. There's so much ever in your favor that like you can kind of just go on and be confident that you're going to come out the other side and it's going to be much nicer than it was when you went in. That's my belief is that you just kind of give it all up, and if you get it back, that's cool.
yeah.
If you don't, well, you're not going to know. That's that. It's dark, but
I have to say though, our group just cracked me up because like it reminds me of when I had group chats with my friends and everybody was having a baby, like those years of your life where you're just like, oh my gosh, another baby, and you're just like sending cards and like sending having baby showers. I'm on group chats where we all just are congratulating each other about our brain surgery.
yeah, we're like, hey, your scar looks nice. Your hair's growing back. That's a
And
cool
like,
hat.
where's the
Right.
Hallmark card for that? Where's the Evite for that?
Yeah,
It's not there.
Exactly.
I bet you they have it on Etsy. They have everything else on Etsy. Principal D.
If
If they don't,
I
then
think
let's create one.
exactly.
Congratulations on your new friend in your
I heard
brain.
you had a hole in your head. Congratulations. You're a bowling ball. I woke,
Oh
I woke
Lord.
up this morning with a headache, and Greg said it. He says, "Oh, he says you have a headache." He says, "Oh, sorry." He was like, "I was measuring for my new bowling ball." I was like, "Yeah, that's funny. You got jokes. Okay, you're funny." Like, I was like, my head is not very big. I was like, I don't think it would. He was like, yeah, okay. To hold that big old brain in there.
Yeah.
It still works from time to time, except for when I
Yeah.
have to remember how to sign on to podcast recordings. Couldn't even
Oh
remember
Well,
that.
yeah.
I couldn't remember the login myself. I was like,
No. I
I
knew it
was
was
at
2 words.
Walmart. I have an alert on my phone, thank God. I was at Walmart and it was like time for your podcast and I like booked it home. Like and I had literally just texted you about it. That's how bad my memory is. Like I had literally just texted you about it and 30 minutes later it's not even in my consciousness anymore.
oh yeah,
You know how
We're
it's like
so
a
busy
sieve.
though. We're so busy, you know, like the thing that they don't tell you about, you know, just taking it upon yourself to advocate for yourself or post or maintain a blog or an Instagram page is that like the more it increases in popularity and even sometimes when it doesn't, like it takes an enormous amount of your time and you're like immersed in that and then it's like this person wants you for this project and this project and this project and this project and this project. In the beginning you're like it's very flattering and you're like
Yeah.
yes, yes. And now like we're kind of just now learning to say like no, 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 like if this doesn't add to my life or my time, if it subtracts from my on time, if I have to suffer to do it, if I have to struggle and it's not the right time for me, then you're not getting anything because we have to protect, you know, our time. And I feel like that affects our memory too because we're constantly rushing
oh
from
yeah.
this thing to that thing. I have to jump on this Zoom call and this and that and this and that. I have like an entire like month of Zoom calls, like which are great, but then by the same rate, you're constantly moving from thing to thing to thing to thing, and it's like I have to say no.
And you know, and then at what point you also have to remember to factor in time for stuff you want to do, right?
Yeah, oh, I don't remember what that is.
When I hate that question though, like what do you do for fun? I don't know, like make snacks for
Mhm.
my kids. Like what's that?
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I'm
grocery shop.
living through other people's lives right now, you know,
Yes.
but um I mean, yeah, I keep going back though to like what my original intent was with advocacy and stuff like that and trying to remind myself like when I left my career and my husband and I talked about that decision, he was like, if you don't work, you have to focus on your health and your own wellness, this disease. He's like, that's your job that from now on. And I
Yeah.
really lost track of that. And that's why I've been kind of making these changes because I realized like I had just still backburnered myself, you know, to advocacy, to volunteering, to helping other people. And as much as I love to do that, I had to reset and be like, no, like I'm not going to skip the gym for a Zoom, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to not play with my kids to make a post, you know? Like
Yeah.
those I had to just really, really remind myself about that. And my family is very good about reminding myself about that. I'll tell you that. They
They
are
will help
when
you
you have
prioritize.
little kids. Like my entire summer was just like, look at me, mom, look at me, mom, look at me, mom, look at me, mom.
Nice.
I changed my name. I changed my name. I'm not mom
I'm
anymore. I need
like,
to figure out what it is.
but you know, when you are on social media, one thing it is really good about though is like I know my feed at least is very heavy like mom stuff, and I always see those reels that are like, this is the last time, like one day you'll pick up your kid and that'll be the last time you carry them, you know, and
That's true.
that's true, and it's depressing, but it also like motivates me. Although my son is on this thing now where he keeps trying to pick me up, which is really funny because he's so little, but he's like, again, look at me, mom, I'm lifting you up.
Yeah. Chris used to do that when he was younger. You know, he'd be about like 9 or 10, you know, maybe 11, and he was like, "I can pick you up," and he would like kind of like cantilever my weight, and like my feet would go up, and I'm like, "Man, you're so strong. You're
Yeah,
squeezing
exactly.
Lego." And I was heavier then, you know. But I think it's such a boy thing to do. And then, of course, my oldest daughter, not to be left behind it because they're only 13 months apart, she was like, "I can lift you too, mom."
Well, my kids are so competitive, and it's so crazy because I didn't grow up like with siblings close to my age. My siblings are like a lot older than me, but you know,
Mine.
I got a dog now. Like we got a dog, and this is what they fight about now. He loves me more. No, he loves me more. Look at him. He's clearly loving me more. And I'm like, how are you making a competition over who the dog
Dog
loves
loves
more?
more.
We
Like, that is crazy.
The girls did that with the cats. They were like, like one would just like passive aggressively be sitting with the cat staring at the other one going, oh,
Yeah,
I love you
exactly.
so much.
Came
Oh,
for
and the other one's
me.
like,
I'm like, literally, if you had bacon in your pocket, he would go anywhere. Like, this
right?
is not good.
He has no compunction. Like he'll just go to
There's no
whoever smells
loyalty
like
there.
food or weakness. Like, oh, you want to give me something? All right, I'll be right there. Like, whereas my cats are just like, nah, we're not interested. Bye.
That's a good thing about cats, though. They're like, they sense people that don't like them and then just mess with them.
Yeah, oh yeah. But they're interesting because one, like Venom, who is the more aloof one, she'll actually attach herself to me if I'm not feeling well. The rest of the time, she mostly like follows Elena around. She likes to sleep in stuffed animals, like she's kind of like ET, where she has to sleep amongst the stuffed animals all the time. But and Elena's bed is covered with stuffed animals, so like she sleeps with Elena all the time, and you just go in there and she's like meow, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, excuse me. But if I'm not feeling well, my hand is weird. She keeps like butting at my hand until it feels right because she'll make me pet her with it and I'll pet her with it and she knows it's not right. I'll try to trick her by using the other hand and she'll just stick to me. And once she realizes my hand works, she's like, yeah, okay, bye. Let's see.
They know
Yeah, they
these
know.
things, right?
The guinea
But I
pigs are
have to
more
ask
cuddly than
you,
the cats.
I have to ask you, Mel, like, that is and has been one of my big concerns with DBS for myself is my kid's reaction to it, especially my son because he's just such a worrier anyway.
Yeah.
Have you had that discussion? I mean, I feel like you're probably like me, where it's been an ongoing kind of
Yeah,
discussion over,
yeah, we
like
talked
this
about like
might
what
be
the
a
options
thing.
are. Yeah, you're like, well, I might have to do this and do this. And Alexis is going to be 15, so Alexis, she fully understands like, what the benefits, the results, and the things are going to have to happen in between, and like, I'm going to have some time to rest and things that I can't do. Elena doesn't really get it, so it makes her nervous. We don't talk about that too much because like with her, it's a little bit more complicated to get her to understand what is happening, and it's also a little bit more complicated to get through if she has any emotions about that because if you try to push or press her, then she's kind of just shuts down and then that's it. So I have to wait for her to come at it. And she keeps telling me, like, you don't die from Parkinson's, right, Mom? Which is like heartbreaking. Every once in a while she'll say that to me and I'm like, no, no, you just keep going. And she's like, yeah. So as
Yeah,
far as the surgery goes, she knows that, like I'll have some boo-boos up here and stuff and maybe my hair is gonna be like a little weird and stuff, but I try to minimize it as much as possible um and I think I've done that to the largest degree, but when it comes down to it, like brain surgery is brain surgery, so they get that it's kind of I'm glad that like I don't have to stay in the hospital for long. When I had my hip surgery, I was only there overnight as well, so I think that'll influence it because I got through that okay. So I think they realize that I'll get through this okay too. So, but it does it's not a fun thing to have to explain, especially to an autistic kid that like doesn't really deal with emotions very well. And then she's kind of just like, and I'm like, no, 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 it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And she's like, will you bring a stuffy with you? Can I choose which one? And I'm like, okay, sure. And then there's me,
oh,
like,
And you can always get them to come up with a nickname for you as well, because that's my nephew and brother have been continuously coming up with like nicknames. Tin Man,
oh gosh.
what was the other one? It was Tin Man and Mainframe. Skynet, yeah. I mean, it's just this whole, yeah. So yeah,
Mom
Bionic
2.0,
Man, right? So
Bionic Mom. That's what I've been getting.
mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I can
Cyborg
see
Mom.
that being an issue though, Mel, because I can see my kids being like that. Like, I get brain surgery and the next day they're like, so does that mean you're not making breakfast?
So like, so what? Like
Does
go
that
to
mean we
Target
don't
and
get
get pizza?
waffles from scratch?
When my son No zoo this month? No zoo? Oh, okay. What do you mean Eggos? Eggos. These guys know. See, you're better than me because like I've never been like a get up and cook breakfast mom. Like that's the only thing that it's like really only holidays, and then you get your waffles and strawberries and whipped cream. Like that's the jam. And you know, if I cook my kids breakfast, they're like, "What eggs?" It's usually because I'm out of cereal. Like
Yeah.
it's like only under duress. like they get breakfast for dinner more than they get breakfast for breakfast. So if I'm fixing something other than cereal, it's terrible. I'm like it's fortified with vitamins and minerals. It's good. My mom didn't let me eat this stuff. You're very lucky. Fruity Pebbles is the jam. My mom made us
You know, my
eat puffed rice with only a little bit of honey, like stingy amount of honey, and that was it. And then she would leave, and my grandma would go, "Who wants sugar?"
I grew up in a really, really healthy household, and the
It's
only
your
cereal that I remember having was Raisin Bran. And so when I got a little bit older, I would pull out all the sugar-coated raisins out of the Raisin Bran and eat them. That was like candy to me.
yeah.
And my parents would get so mad. And I raised my kids like really healthy too. And we're vegan and stuff. And so actually, one of the only times I was away from my kids, I had a bladder repair surgery when my
Gosh.
kids were like 5 and 6. And so I had to stay overnight in the hospital, and I took them to my friend's house to take care of them. And they came back, and she had given them, you know, those little boxes of cereal that kind of like those 24
Oh,
packs or whatever that
Like
are
yeah.
like an
the variety,
assortment.
the yep.
Yeah,
I
the
used to
variety
beg
pack.
for those. Beg for
So
those.
she had given them some to take with them, and my son pulled one out of his overnight bag. He was sitting in the van, and he said, "Look at this. This is colorful cereal, and you never told us there was colorful cereal." Because
Oh
they had
well.
only ever eaten Cheerios, you
Yeah,
know? And they
that
were
was us
so
too.
mad. They
My
thought all
sister
cereal was brown.
my sister still eats puffed rice. I'm like, are you insane? I eat the sugariest cereal. I'm the most disgusting human being. Like I'm like I want the kids cereal. This morning I was eating chocolate checks. I was like stealing them out of Alexis's bowl. I was like, oh, you fixed cereal. Thanks. This is for me.
And she put chocolate milk in the kids' cereal. She put
Oh my
chocolate
gosh.
milk in their cereal.
It's
And
hardcore.
after that, like I had to like we drink almond milk and stuff, but I put from that day forward I put chocolate almond milk in their cereal because I'm always trying to get my kids like calories and stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm also like I think a lot of that is kind of again like how your mentality changes over time. It's
Yeah.
like now I'm just so much more like yeah, sure, why the heck not? Like life life is short and why not have chocolate milk in your cereal?
When we were younger, like, we didn't have much money, so my mom had like the WIC program for my sister because she's 7 years younger than me. So we got it till she was 5. And it basically brought you like eggs, milk, cereal, peanut butter, beans. Now they do vegetables and stuff, which is really great. It's actually a good program for people who need it and have kids under the age of 5. But the only cereal that you can get sugar cereals. It had to be whatever was approved. And there was one cereal that you could get was called Kaboom. And like people who have ever been
Yep.
on WIC know what Kaboom is because Kaboom was full of red number 5. And when you use the bathroom after you eat Kaboom, it still looks like Kaboom.
It,
There
it,
was
it
so
get
much
kind of
food coloring
kind of
that it came
get kind of
out.
panicky.
It went in when it came out the way that it went in. And my mom was like, "This can't be healthy. This can't." And I'm pretty sure if I remember, right, it had marshmallows in it too. And we were just like, "What? We can have this?" And my mom was like, "Well, if it's on WIC, it must be healthy." And then after a while with the red food coloring, my mom was like, "No, no, I can't handle this anymore. I can't. I'm done. I'm not doing Kaboom anymore." And then there went our freedom. We were back to puffed wheat and puffed rice all over again, rice cakes and natural peanut butter. I think that's why I don't like peanut butter and jelly because my mom tried so hard to get me to eat peanut butter and I just was not feeling it. I
Lots
still
of
think.
all lots of olive bran and grape nuts. And, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
grape nuts.
I like grape nuts. Still to this day, I still eat grape nuts and special. I like Special K, but Special K is full of sugar now.
Yeah.
It's kind of cheating a little bit, but it's like the things you do that to stay healthy. But after DBS, I'll eat lots of good foods, hopefully, and this absorption issue might, you know, hopefully subside a bit. I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of hope that it's going to change anything, but it might influence it enough to,
Yeah.
you know, medication wise, that I can have it something a little bit
Like
different.
to
And
give you,
I plan on going back on an autoimmune protocol too, because that helped me immensely with inflammation and stuff like that. So why not?
You're
Don't
gonna
eat a
go
lot of
back to
meat.
the wall protocol?
I'd like to do the wall, but it involves a lot of organ meats and
Yeah.
fermented foods that I just can't. I just have no taste for. Like I don't have a taste for kefir, so the only thing I could probably really do is and I don't like kimchi. Um, so I'd probably and kombucha doesn't work for me either. So I'd probably just do the sauerkraut.
mm-hmm.
But it's the organ meats that get me. She's very big on organ meat. I can't.
Somebody,
She went
I
from
tried
a
to,
vegan diet to back to eating meat to include the organ meats because of the I guess I don't know if it's the iron or whatever it is on there that you're looking for, but I can't do it. I can't do organ meats.
yeah, I couldn't do it either. I started it when I thought I just had MS.
Yeah, me too.
Somebody recommended that to me, and I got so sick, man, you know.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
now, even that I'm back on, now that I'm back on selegiline and putting the Makuna back in, it's like just like you're trying to figure out what symptoms and what side effects. I'm always trying to figure out like what's making me sick.
Yeah.
Is
What
it
comes from
the meds or you know, because of all the food interactions and stuff? Because I've had nausea with every medication that I've taken, and I started taking the selegiline in the morning with food, um, which was hard because I just so used to taking Makuna on an empty stomach.
that?
But I think that's part of my problem. I think I should have been eating, you know, some little something to sort of buffer my stomach with a lot of this stuff the whole time. And it's
So like
crazy
salt
because
or something, you know, like even just a cracker sometimes helps.
the
Yeah, because I mean,
Makuna is like a pretty thick capsule, and I take two of them. That can't be friendly to my stomach.
Yeah, I was taking that for a long time, and I'm actually I wanted to go back off of it, back onto it, but my doctor said let's wait and see what's necessary after DBS, because it is a neuroprotectant. You know, even though there wasn't a large enough clinical study that I had told you, my doctor said that in his 35 years of being a clinician, with people with patients with Parkinson's, that this was the best tool that you could give yourself as far as neuroprotection. Like if you can tolerate it, that like just stay on it. And I only went off because of all the dietary issues and things like that. And we were trying things and taking off things, and nothing was really helping. So, but each one of those medications like creates its own kind of different issue in your gut. Like you don't really know what's going to happen after you hmm, will I be able to use the bathroom? Will this stop my overactive bladder? Will it trigger my overactive bladder? Will I have hyperactive bladder? Will I be constipated? It's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
spin the wheel, get a prize.
Wheel of torture. All these prizes waiting to be on here. I'll take the giant Dalmatian for 400, please, Pat.
Mhm.
Well, I'm
Seem like
excited for you to get your programming done, Chris, and I'm excited for
Yeah.
Mel's journey,
no, I can't
and
wait when first
I'm
maternity.
excited for me to hopefully be able to last long enough to where I can just get like a robot brain completely.
I asked for a cyborg arm. You know, I figured at first, like, if they wasn't going to do the DBS, like, okay, like a cyborg arm, because like that thing will just, you know, I could chop and mince and I could do it, brush my
Yeah.
hair. Like, I don't have to worry about it working. But nobody was
Those,
on board,
those, yeah, those add-ons will come later. And
right? Like, you got to be forward thinking about this. You know, like doctors come to me. I have ideas.
I needed to interface with my Alexa.
Could you imagine, like, Alexa, tell brain to remember things?
Exactly, exactly. Although my daughter has like a routine. routines programmed into her Alexa that I keep meaning to have her show me how to do. And it's so funny because it'll go off in the morning and it'll literally be like, brush your teeth, make your bed, blah, 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 you know? And I'm like, she is 12. Like, I need
That's
that. What does
cool,
she
though.
do? Huh?
You can do that with ChatGPT also. You
Yeah.
can go on ChatGPT and have it to make you a schedule
Like
for your day
schedule.
or a
Yeah.
plan for your day. Yeah, it's pretty neat. You don't only have to use it for writing. You can use it for other things that don't, preempt your creative process.
All right, I gotta go, guys. I gotta take out this dog. I wish you could see it here. I gotta show you. But
Yay!
I wanna show you what can you see
He's
him
really
like in his cage over there? Like on his
Look at him
on his
protecting you like a champion.
Right.
because
Yogi,
if I leave him outside, he would have cried this entire hour.
he's the best boy.
He will be free as soon as he learns to have any control over his bladder
Yeah,
whatsoever.
he used to potty
Yeah.
outside, and then you have to get him the fluid pet. You got to get him the little button so then he can talk to you. That'll be the next thing.
Oh, yes, like Bunny.
Yes, I
Do you
love
follow
that.
do you follow Bunny on TikTok?
Oh yeah.
But my
He goes,
daughter was like, "No, we don't want to do
yeah,
that because it's gonna be like too demanding."
no, I think it'll be really cool when your dog walks to you and
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, you want me to get you your medicine?" And you're like, "Yeah, bro, fist bump." So thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed revisiting this conversation from 2024. Now that you're all caught up, be sure to tune in to our August episode for an update on our post-surgery DBS stories. Until then, if you're looking for more information on DBS or the Young Onset Parkinson's Network, there will be links to resources in the show notes. There will also be more information about how to follow all of us on social media. You should do that. And thank you again to the Parkinson's Movement Disorder Alliance for hosting this podcast.